If you're a smaller startup company and you've come up with a new innovative product which you want to market, if you've focused solely on research and development and marketing and have not paid adequate attention to protecting that intellectual property, once you come to market, you have no means of preventing other larger, more established companies from copying your product. And this can be detrimental to your business as they can have far more resources and can publicise it much more and essentially outcompete. There are many different areas of IP which companies should think about. For example, we've done some work with a client who produced a batter which had a lower uptake of fat. And this is particularly relevant at the present time because a lot of people enjoy eating fried foods, but a lot of people are becoming much more health conscious. So what we did with that client, we did a lot of research into what they want to market. And we were able to draft a patent with claims relating solely to, for instance, the batter as a dry powder. The batter is a wet powder. Some companies want to produce the finished product, so say a fish coated with the batter, but you may need protection if you're selling it where the batter is in a raw form, partly cooked, fully cooked. Then you might want to think about the particular processes you use to produce that batter or to produce the finished food product. In this particular case, for this client, they had incorporated a specific ingredient which reduced the amount of fat uptake in the batter. So we were able to draft the patent relating to the particular use of that ingredient within a batter. And in this way, instead of directly protecting just the finished product alone, you can produce layers of protection. So at the present time, there is a lot of change within the food industry. Some of this is consumer driven and some of this relating to government policies such as the sugar tax. So a lot of companies are inputting a lot of resources into their research and development programs in order to meet these requirements. And where a lot of companies are all driving towards the same point, where they all want to meet this consumer demand and get an advantage in the marketplace, it's essential that each of these companies is able to protect their inventions in order to ensure their stance in the marketplace. So if you're an SME and you're thinking about protecting your invention, one of the first things that we would always say is keep it as a trade secret. Because once it's been publicly disclosed, it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to gain protection for that invention. What we would always advise is to, first of all, approach possibly a patent attorney to get a search so you can understand what is known within that field and therefore get an idea of whether you will be able to get a patent protection for your invention. Also, something else you would need to look at is freedom to operate search. And this is just looking at third-party rights. So whether if you brought your invention, your product, your drink to market, whether you'll be infringing somebody else's rights and therefore you would not be able to continue with that product and it would be a wasted investment. So these things are important to look at a very early stage while you're developing your product. If there are third-party rights, you may be able to change your product slightly to work around third-party rights, or we can look at possible ways of invalidating these third-party rights to enable you to carry on and bring your product to market. If that's not possible, you could always think about approaching that person for a license, and for a fee, you could then carry on and produce your product.